Mike Bohn joined now by Savannah Marshall, who is rapidly closing in on her MMA debut, the undisputed super middleweight champion in boxing. But we're talking a little MMA today. Savannah, how's this feel? I mean, you're kind of have a date now, an opponent. Kind of the goal is very directional now. What does it feel like compared to a big boxing fight?
It's exciting. It's really exciting and it's unknown. It's kind of like even today, I was just asking Andy, my coach, what do we do fight week? Because it's not like boxing where I know what I'm doing. It's all new, it's all different. It's the unknown, which is exciting.
Yeah, why ultimately did you want to do this? Because you look at your boxing career, I mean, you're coming off arguably your biggest, most, important win for all the belts and stuff. Why did you feel like now is the time to jump into all this unknown and something where obviously you're not nearly as established yet in terms of combat sports?
Just the opportunity. I've boxed for a long, long time. I've boxed for the 23 years. And yeah, I've come off probably the biggest win of my career, becoming undisputed. But there wasn't really a lot of options for me there in boxing. So, like I said, this got presented to me, and it was an opportunity really that I couldn't have said no to.
Yeah, how did it come together? Like, did you express interest in competing in MMA and your team kind of went out and found the best deal, or did PFL approach you guys and say, hey, like, if you want to do this, the opportunity is here?
No, obviously, never. I've never really. Well, I'll tell a lie. Probably in about 2013, uh, I actually walked into an MMA gym and I wanted to give it a go because I just seen that MMA was really taking off, especially for women. And I did about one or two sessions, and I remember thinking, "Oh, there's too much for me to grasp." So I kind of turned me back on it then. And then in lockdown, again, I just seen that there was a lot of opportunities happening for women in MMA. So I had a couple of sessions there with Molly McCann, who was with the UFC, and then boxing took off for me. So I shut the door on it again. And it was only after mine and Clarissa's fight at the O2 that the PFL approached me and my team and said, "Look, would Savannah be interested in having a go with the PFL?" And to be honest, I know I'm under no illusion. They've only signed me because Clarissa's with them. So that's the goal. The goal isn't really for me to enter the league or anything like that. The goal is to me to build up and essentially have a fight with Clarissa in the cage.
Hmm. Yeah, that seems like a great idea. I mean, but they're obviously featuring you here. I mean, when they came to you and was like, here's the opponent, you're going to be the main event. We're putting you in England. Were you like, damn, this is a lot to throw out my plate at once? Or are you kind of embracing, all of these different things that come with this as well?
Yeah, so when they were asking about the debut, I'd said, "Oh, I don't mind going abroad, being on someone else's undercard, a bit out the way, a bit less pressure." And then they'd come and said, "Oh no, we're gonna go to Newcastle. We want you at headline." I just thought, "Oh, if you're gonna do it, you may as well do it. You may as well go all in."
Yeah, definitely. So I guess what have you done as far as like training and kind of preparing yourself for this? Is there, things that have been trickier for you to pick up than you thought? How have you kind of broke down a camp? Obviously, there's still time to go, but in preparing for this.
So the biggest probably change. Well, the hardest thing for me to grasp was changing my boxing style. Obviously, in boxing, I lean quite far back on the back leg. Obviously, your front leg's turned in. I have my hands quite low, so all that had to change. I've had to square right up, weight like in the centre, if not over the front foot, and hands around my head really, because not just punches, there's kicks coming. So that was the hardest thing for me to grasp. I thought what would have benefited me in boxing would benefit me in this, and it kind of doesn't really.
Hmm.
Um, so that was the biggest thing. I really enjoyed the grappling. I really like the grappling. Um, and like I said, I think it's just because it's new. And for the first time in a long time, I'm a novice.
Yeah.
I'm an absolute novice. I've went from being like world class elite to joining in beginners classes, um, getting tapped out at every second. So it's definitely humbles you.
Yeah, and I know you said the goal is to kind of do a MMA fight with Claressa Shields, but she's obviously kind of tried to make this transition as well. She's had, I think, 4 fights now. Despite you guys planning to fight, do you reach out to her and kind of ask any advice about this transition, or is there anyone else you talk to who's like kind of attempted to mix up between the two sports here?
No, we're not friends by it. We acknowledge each other, and I'd seen her just when I'd signed the contract, basically before I'd done any MMA training. She kind of pulled me to one side and said, "Oh, this, and this." And then obviously when I've started doing the MMA training, I went to her last fight in Saudi, and I'd said to her, "Look, I get it. I totally get what you're trying to say." Because look, I thought it would have been. I underestimated it massively. I thought it would have been like, "Oh, I'm undisputed champion. I'm going to walk into this, and do you know that's that." And clearly, it's just not like that at all. I really underestimated the sport of MMA.
Yeah. And Clarissa has talked about too, like why she came in because she just feels there's like better money can be in MMA, better opportunities for women, which you kind of alluded to earlier. Is that some of the appeal here as well? Like there may just be access to potential financial avenues and, kind of attention that women's boxing may not be getting for you right now.
I think that during lockdown, female boxing went through the roof, and I
Hmm.
kind of feel now that it's starting to burn out a little bit. And also, since I've kind of dipped my toe in MMA, I actually think MMA is bigger worldwide than boxing, which is quite sad because boxing's been around for years. I think the WBA was 1912, I think maybe. It was one of
Hmm.
the first organisations. I might be wrong there. And just like I said, I just think worldwide MMA is bigger than boxing.
Yeah, for sure. But obviously a lot of big things happening too. You look at Amanda and Katie going to be the co-main event on this Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. So
Hmm.
hopefully
Hmm.
everything continues to rise. But as far as like your kind of path, is this the focus right now? Like are you planning to do multiple MMA fights in a row, or is it just going to be this one and then you go with your team, and if there's a boxing fight that makes sense, you go to that. If they offer you an MMA fight, like how are you kind of balancing the schedule going forward as far as where you're competing and when?
Well, this is where the PFL have been really good with me. They know that
Hmm.
boxing comes first, and really it came at a brilliant time because I was meant to box in March and that fell through. So if the PFL wasn't here, would I still been sat about waiting for a fight date? Um, so really, I'm looking at the PFL it's keeping me active. Though it's not a boxing fight, I'm still training. I'm still in a camp. I'm still, the emotions of fight week, that sort of thing. But I'm just going to get June the 8th out of the way and then just see. Do you know, I might get in the cage and be absolutely terrible and think,
Hmm.
Jesus, that's just not for me. I might get in there and just absolutely enjoy it and just think, God, I want a bit more of that. So I think I'm just gonna see how June the 8th goes first.
Yeah. How much like attention do you pay to your opponent, Marilla Vargas? I mean, obviously pretty experienced on her side, inexperienced on her side as well. Is it just focus here mainly on you, or do you like kind of look into her much at all?
Yeah, I've watched her 3 pro fights. Bit unsure if she's had an amateur career. I know she's Brazilian, so I know that it's a bit different over there.
Hmm.
Um, but she knows what she's obviously had it. She had a first round 12-second knockout, so she can obviously dig. And like now I know what I'm looking at, and now I know like what you've got to do, type like the basics. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to get up. She knows how to get off the wall, that type of thing. So she's definitely, I think I mean a couple of people have said to me there's no such thing as a journeywoman in MMA. So and also she's in it. Well, she's only had 3 fights,
Hmm.
and she hasn't never went the distance. I've never seen her take someone down. I've never seen her submit someone. So it's that unknown as well.
Yeah. Well, I think obviously the dream scenario would be she would stand up with you. I mean, how different do you feel your striking is in those 4 ounce gloves? Do you feel like you crack just that much harder when you're wearing those smaller gloves?
Yeah, but then there's also the issue with They are small.
Mm.
Yeah, I've even after my last fight, I had to have a operation on my hand. My last fight because I'd damaged the tendons. So there's even that. But do you know I've put a lot of work in, and look, someone said to me today, if would you go out there and submit them? I was like, yeah, if the opportunity's there, if they give me the back, yeah. I don't just want to go out there and just have a stand up shootout. I'd rather I'm excited. I want to try it. I want to in that real fighting scenario. So let's just know. I might be trying to shoot for her. You never know.
No, that's great. I mean, the fact that you're even approaching it with that mindset, I think says a lot about how you're learning and how you're, taking the sport the right way. But I assume you kind of said all roads are maybe leading to an MMA fight with Claressa if things work out well here. I assume people would want to see you two just stand and trade with the 4 ounce gloves, right? That would be kind of the excitement of a fight like that.
Yeah, I guess so. But you could see we could have seen that. We've seen that. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, like you said, she's inexperienced like me. Fair enough. I think she's had three or four fights now. But it's the whole. It's not like she's been doing BJJ for years. It's not like she's been wrestling in school or high school or whatever. So it makes it that a little bit even.
For sure. Well, that's awesome, Savannah. I think this is great that you're doing this. There's so much talk about that MMA fighters only go to boxing and it doesn't go so well for them. And,
Yeah.
you're one of the few who's going the other way. So I think it's really respectable and commendable that you're doing this and approaching it with the mindset you are. So I really appreciate you sharing and very much looking forward to this fight. Happy birthday coming up. You're, I think, 2 days younger than me. So I'm the 21st of May.
Oh
You're
wow,
the 19th, both
Taurus.
91. So yeah, there we
Oh,
go.
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy
Okay.
birthday for
So
them.
yeah, thank you. We'll talk again hopefully after the fight and hopefully the rest of camp goes well for you.
Very much. Cheers.
Thanks. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.